You gotta be kidding me.
Let's jump into a Thursday night football preview. Fun divisional matchup. We got the Ravens going up against the Bengals. Must starts, risky starts, and don't starts. Bezos, don't fail us. This better be a good game. We're gonna need it.
40 plus points
Uh,
each team.
this will be a fun one. Must starts, guys, that you gotta have in your lineup. Must have them out there. They're gonna help you out, starting out your week strong. Risky starts. Oh boy, this may be good. We might be feeling good, but a little hesitant, or I don't know if this is going to be all right. I don't know, Jim. I don't know, Jim.
There's Mahomes. Oh, Josh and Mahomes are my best friends. Actually, I get them food and breakfast every day.
2 for 20 at Chili's. All right, and then your don't starts. Guys that you should not have in the lineup. Don't think about it, and we're definitely telling you, guys, chill out. All right, take it easy. I'm going to start out here with my must start, and this has an asterisk on it. Okay? My must start is Mike Gesicki. All right? This is if T. Higgins does not play, because Mike Gesicki's awesome when T. Higgins isn't in the lineup. Okay? Kansas City in week 2, 16.2 fantasy points. 2 weeks ago, he had like 7 catches for 77 yards. This past week was the tight end 1. What's the common factor? No T. Higgins on the field. He becomes the 2, and Burrow has always been a guy who uses his top 2 receivers very well. He becomes the guy. If T. Higgins is in, which I believe as of this moment that he will be, either that or he's going to be traded, to be completely honest. There's a part of me that was like, maybe they just held him out so he didn't re-injure himself so they can trade him.
Yeah,
like on
Monday Night
We'll see. Maybe by the time you listen to this, you might know. Yeah. But if Higgins is in, he's my must start. So it's interchangeable, Gesicki or Higgins. Over 12 fantasy points in every game so far this season, minus his first game back from injury. So kind of scratching that one a little bit, but 14.7 fantasy points or more in his last 3 games. And he's had 7 targets or more in every single game. Again, besides that kind of first one back from injury, he's been awesome. And so T. Higgins needs to be in the lineup. If he's not active, Mike Gesicki, boom. There you go.
Higgins has been so underappreciated this fantasy season.
He's been so good.
Absolutely insane. And he's winning weeks. I don't think people are realizing. I love that about Gesicki. That's awesome. Love gritty Gesicki. He's great. Here's the must start. It's also I feel like a little bit of a softball pitch, but you just roll him out after having an incredible game. This is no fluke. Roll out Chase Brown. He's been awesome. And Chase Brown, I think, has taken over that backfield, even when Zach Moss does come back at some point, if he does come back this season. But Chase Brown deserves to be in your starting lineup. And unless you happen to draft perfectly with your running backs, he's your flex option at worst. And I think that's a great way to start out your week. He's getting receiving work as well, a lot of good upside. And the Ravens have a pretty weak defense as well. And so mostly in the passing game that they allow a lot of points, but I'm taking my shot and saying you should roll out Chase Brown for this Thursday night.
Yeah, I like Chase Brown. I'm just a little worried. That's why he's my risky start. My risky start is Chase Brown. It's 32 opportunities is great. I don't think it'll be that high against the Ravens. But without Zach Moss, he's a top 12 running back with like top 5 upside. Legit. Like he is, if he's going to get the volume, he's proven himself. He's been great. They love him. And he's a guy that's worth having in that lineup. As you said, Wes, he's worth your flex play. The big thing here for him is he's also become the receiving back, which sounds a little backwards when you think about it. Cause Zach Moss, for some reason, you think about Zach Moss as more like the power, like tough yards guy. And he was getting the receiving work this year for the most part when he was in. So now Chase Brown gets more of the receiving work, 6 targets. It's awesome. It is a tough matchup in the run game. You know, the Ravens do have a pretty good run defense, but it's legit in the role he's going to play. And so roll him out. He's my risky start. I just wanted to, I don't know if you're going to get RB4 this week, but you'll get probably a top 12 week for sure.
What's awesome is my risky start is Mike Gesicki. So we're cautiously optimistic on both of these as a consensus here on Fourth and Troll. Even if T. Higgins does play, I think there's still a reason to roll out Gesicki just for the touchdown upside and for big plays and how porous the Ravens secondary is. But obviously it is still a risk because he has not been consistent, because if T. Higgins comes back, there's so many more targets that are going to be vacated from Mike Gesicki to Higgins. And as I just mentioned, Chase Brown has seen more of the receiving game as well. The one addition, though, I believe is Eric All. Is that right? I think Eric All is done for the year. Sadly. So their other promising rookie tight end is done. So Mike won't be out of the lineup as much as usual. So there's the reason I have him as my risky start.
That's fair. That's fair. Cautious optimism on both these guys. My don't start is Deontay Johnson. No chance I play him in his first legitimate game. Even the divisional round, the divisional matchup. Got to see what happens. Listen, sometimes we do Victory Lap Tuesday, and it's awesome, and you get to Victory Lap, and it's great. And other times, you eat a big old shit sandwich. And I said Zay Flowers was going to be a dud in week 9, and he was like a top 5 wide receiver, and he had like 2 touchdowns. And we had multiple people on social media be like, Zay Flowers touchdown. Someone said you owe me financial compensation for this, for this call. Listen, doesn't always work out. He's been extremely hot and cold, and he proved that. And he's like the first wide receiver this season to just cook the Broncos secondary. So the reasoning was there, the process was there, the product was a little off, but I'm not starting Deontay Johnson because I'm just not going to trust it in the first week of legitimate play with him. Short week, still don't know how much of the playbook he's going to know, and just got to see what happens. I don't want to start out my week like that.
I already forgot he was on the Ravens.
That's
sad. Already forgot. And I get it. He played 13 snaps, so there's no reason
something like that,
really remember. But yeah, and now my top 10 rankings for Deontay Johnson is completely thrown out the window because he was going to be the wide receiver 1 on the team for the whole season, and then they traded. Why did they trade him? I don't understand. What did the Panthers? And yet they won the very first game, but I don't understand. It's like when they traded McCaffrey and then Donta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard just destroyed teams for 3 straight weeks. It was like, what?
Yeah.
How does that? Anyway, the only other player that I think is in the category of a don't start in these very high-powered, awesome fantasy teams is, I'll take a shot. I'll say Justice Hill. That's too scary to start Justice Hill. You could be the person to be like, you know what, I'm gonna roll out Justice Hill. This is gonna be super cool, and then you get a touchdown or 2 because Ravens score 40 points every single game. But there's no reason to start out your week when you're in the playoff race with Justice Hill, barring a Derrick Henry injury, which I don't see that happening as he is made of adamantium. So that's all I have. Otherwise, literally, I think you can start like everybody. I don't think there's someone that you can't explain why you're starting someone from the Bengals or Ravens. This is going to be an awesome game. This is going to be such a fun one. I'm so excited for this.